Hi again, everybody. Kevin Hicks with another EarthWorks Turf Talk. This will be episode 2 of my series on construction tips. Wanted to bring this to you. I've heard from a lot of my friends and clients in the business, some of the things that they would have wanted to do differently, some of the things that were super important to the success of their projects, and I thought I'd just bring a few of them to you. The first installment, if you didn't get that one, it was just kind of an overview. Go to our YouTube page, the EarthWorks Turf YouTube page, and you'll find it there. But this second installment will be the first bullet point, which was planning and permitting. A lot of important things to be had in here, and I'm sure I'll just barely scratch the surface. But first and foremost, make sure your contractors are secured well in advance. I'm hearing that irrigation installers, large scope project contractors are up to a couple of years out on their schedule. So make sure that you've begun a dialogue with the folks that you want in the bidding process, so that you know where you stand with regard to that. Also, make sure that they have the proper licensing and bonding for your state and your municipality. That could vary obviously by state, so just make sure that they've got that covered as well. One thing I thought about this morning, actually, as I was out driving in my area, is check for road limits in the wintertime. A lot of times in the northern climates, you guys in the south don't really understand this, but we have weight limit restrictions because of freezing and thawing. So, if you're trying to stage materials or bring them into the site, there may be some limitations there. So make sure that you've got that covered as well. Tree removal, this one I hear a lot. It can be both an internal battle and an external battle. So, make sure that you've got the proper permitting for tree removal if that's required, and then also just communicate your brains out with membership, with neighbors, um, that this is gonna be part of the overall scope of the project. It can be a very emotional portion to the planning and approval process. So be as objective and upfront with folks as you can on that. Um, explore the possible use of reuse of materials. Excuse me. I've got a couple of projects that I've been involved with over the last little while. One of them in California has decided to try to reuse as much of the plating material that they've accumulated on the fairways, for all of the right reasons. They've invested so much time, effort, and money in creating a biologically healthy soil system there, that the superintendent didn't want to lose that, and so they're actually going to go through the effort of moving that offsite, doing the grading, and then replacing the material from there. Another thing that was a consideration was just just the access to the property. This was a soccer complex for Major League Soccer, and so we talked it through and decided that there was an awful lot of material that didn't need to be hauled off for the expansion, that could actually be used for the second field. So a lot of things to consider there. That's just a point that I wanted to make. Um, Staging and stockpiling of materials. Make sure you've got plenty of space and it's in a logical location near the project site, so that whether it's aggregate materials or irrigation components, make sure they're in a place that not only is safe and secure, but accessible to the contractors. Are there noise ordinances? This is something that I hear a lot, that you're gonna that's one of those ordinances that will be strictly enforced if you've got a neighbor that isn't in favor of the project. So make sure that you know where you're at, and that your contractors know what they're to adhere to as well. With materials costs rising, another thing that I've heard time and time again is, if you can get materials ahead of time, you may avoid some of the increasing costs. So, obviously, once you've got things set and decided, and the scope and what materials you're going to need, I would suggest that you look at buying those as soon as possible, or the contractor purchase them, depending on how the contracts are written. So that's just a couple of things that I've heard time and time again, that have really made a difference in the projects that I've been involved with. So I'm sure there's a thousand more, but just a couple things to kind of consider as you're going through this process. And um, the next installment will be hopefully in a week or two, and we'll talk about materials testing, probably roll amendments into that as well. But hopefully you're enjoying this. If you're not subscribed already, make sure you do so, and we'll get your next installment here as soon as this one hits. Thanks again for listening. Have a great day.